Hello, I'm Yoko, and this is Year 7 of GalaxyClan. This is a series, so if this is the first GalaxyClan video you've clicked on, I suggest checking out the playlist that's linked below, or in a card above. Also, real quick, you guys have been asking for a Discord for GalaxyClan and my livestream clan, AshClan. So I got my boyfriend to actually help me out and set up a general Discord for the channel that should be linked below. But with that said, back to GalaxyClan. I actually played one extra moon this year by accident and originally thought I would be leaving this year on a pretty big cliffhanger. But I caught that mistake before I drew the actual lineup. So I'll just let you guys know that Year 8 starts with some drama, most of which I will not reference or hint at all, but I will mention one thing because someone has kids next moon, so someone in the clan is currently expecting. But with that said, let's start with the saddest parts of these videos by heading into StarClan and seeing who has passed this year. There's 2 new cats in StarClan and they died at the same time. Hopwhisker and Laketree both passed away due to a contagious disease. Laketree going out the same way as her mentor Poppywish and her apprentice Tawny-sun, while she was trying to heal a patient. Hopwhisker died at 60 moons old and I'm really sad to see her go. Now Palepath has lost both her parents, and Burdock Star only has one living child. I'm happy Hopwhisker at least made up with her sister before passing, but I'm really gonna miss her. She was doing pretty well this year, chasing off foxes and providing for the clan. But sadly, sickness took her in the end. As for Laketree, she died at 66 moons old, and I swear GalaxyClan's medicine cats are cursed. We can never really have 2 for that long, and most of them die of sickness themselves, it seems. Where is their almost sickness immunity, like in the books? Like, I barely see medicine cats get sick in the actual books. Laketree also received a scar in her ear this year from a hawk, and in-game, at the same time, she received another omen. So I took some liberties and decided that StarClan sent a vision of a swarm of crows that distracted her and terrified her a bit, leading to getting the hawk to get her ear. This was a warning of her future fate, kind of like how StarClan warned Cinder Petal. She might have also had a similar type of death omen at the end of Year 6, since I never decided what that was for. Luckily, she lived long enough to give Cinderpaw his full name, but we'll get into how he's doing later. I also like to think that when these 2 died at the same time, Twigclaw was the first one to greet them in StarClan and kind of guide them, as Laketree is his sister and Hopwhisker was his mate. That being said, these 2 are the only new cats in StarClan this year. But before we go into the clan, we have to make a detour. We're heading to the Dark Forest because Frecklespot has died this year as well, at the age of 112 moons. Like I said, she wasn't technically exiled in-game, and I was just sending her on solo patrols, proceeding on anything dangerous. And I planned on making a story of what she was up to. So she was on the run for a bit until she literally got the prompt to try to invite a kitty pet into the clan like 3 times in a row, which I decided to interpret as she was hiding out from the rogues by hanging out with a kitty pet who is none the wiser. And I actually drew the kitty pet based on a cat that I had in another side clan. So this is McFlurry. She's probably never showing up again, but I had fun drawing her. She couldn't hide forever, however, and Frecklespot was indeed killed in-game when she was found and outnumbered by her old group of rogues. A fitting end, indeed. Now she's in the Dark Forest, and I'm actually going to make some possibility generators for next year, for some things that could happen. Because Stoneleaf is also in the Dark Forest, and she doesn't even know that or anything that he did in the past. Burdock Star never told her, and only her sons ever found out about that. But Stoneleaf is most likely hunting her. If you saw the bonus looking at other clans video, you'll also know that in the Dark Forest are 2 Creek clan cats. Lilypelt in particular had been in the rogue group before his death, so she should know him. So we'll have to see if she might try to get on his good side with her snake-like ways she has. Like I said, I have plans for a side randomizer / possibilities to roll if there's nothing plot important status-wise in game for that moon, for all this afterlife drama to make it more personalized, and it might end up with a second death for someone, depending on how things go. But for now, Frecklespot is wandering alone, unaware of the other cats in the Dark Forest, so we'll have to see what happens. Now we can finally get into the clan, starting with Burdock Star, who is 135 moons old, and now has 7 lives as she lost another life this year due to the sickness that took her daughter. Burdock Star is really not having a good year, and none of it was really in her control. An obvious stressor was the fact that Hopwhisker died, but before that, there has also been a lot of drama. Sharp Clan has a new leader, and she is a big jerk. Otterstar and his deputy actually died at the exact same time due to sickness, so their clan was left scrambling until Makwarump took the leader position. So now she's Makwastar, and she's been harassing GalaxyClan this year. Her warriors keep crossing their borders. Beyond Sharp Clan, there's also the ever-present hatred from Creek Clan as well, and somehow relationships between Bug Clan have even gotten more awkward now due to a certain thing I'll get into later. Not to mention that it seems the rogues are back in town after dealing with Frecklespot, as we ran into a few towards the end of the year. But yeah, Burdockstar is very stressed and sees potential threats surrounding her at every corner. She's been snappy this year and is not happy at all with a specific warrior in the clan, but we'll get to that later. She's doing her best, but it really seems like the world is against GalaxyClan this year. As for our deputy, Ravenspot is doing relatively good at 88 moons old. Same with his mate Aspen Lily, who is now 85 moons old. Ravenspot has been doing his best to lessen Burdockstar's stress, making sure the clan runs well and trying to settle border disputes when he can. He's chased off a few invaders. Burdockstar actually gave him another apprentice since she seems to really trust him, and Ravenspot did a good job training his standoffish apprentice the best he could. And Aspen Lily has been doing great as well, hunting and protecting his clan. He's very proud of his free kits and supports them the best he can. They actually wanted to expand their family more, so with that said, they actually have more kits next moon. So Specklenose is currently expecting for them again, and we'll see more children at the next year. Overall, our boys are doing pretty good this year, and that's how I like to see them. Aspen Lily has been spending a lot of time with his medicine cat son too, probably trying to help and lower his stress the best he can. Speaking of, Cinderspeck is the only medicine cat at only 19 moons old, and he is very stressed and nervous. He also has a strong connection to StarClan. Side note, GalaxyClan loves the word speck for names, I swear. I would have changed it, but I thought it fit him and was a nice reference to his surrogate mother, Specklenose. Cinderspeck just seems to be a cat that honors his kin with his name. But yeah, he's not doing well. While he technically gained his medicine cat name before Lake Tree passed, medicine cats stay apprentices until their mentor passes, and he feels unprepared being the only medicine cat in the clan while he's so young. She died when he was only 14 moons old, I believe. He's really close to Sharp Clan's medicine cat Light Snow, despite the clan tensions, as they're both around the same age, and he trained alongside him, essentially. I also imagine that they have matching herb bracelet things that I originally gave to Cinderspeck as a sort of fidget stimming accessory for when he gets nervous. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of shipping Cinderspeck and Light Snow a little, despite them being incapable of actually interacting in-game and becoming boyfriends. But beyond that, Cinderspeck actually got a big scar when he was gathering strong-smelling herbs in Leaf Bear, and a desperate fox caught him off guard. Luckily, one of his sisters and her apprentice saved him. But we'll get into that later. I imagine Aspen Lily had helped fix them up with instructions from Cinderspeck, as both Cinderspeck and his sister actually got hurt from the attack. But yeah, this poor boy is very stressed and he is struggling big time. I'm hoping that things go well next year for him. Now let's get into our warriors. Specklenose is now 97 moons old, and technically Specklenose is in the nursery right now expecting Ravenspot and Aspen Lily's next litter. But I'll draw her here and spoil you that there are no current kits in GalaxyClan at this exact time. Side note, this old version of the game doesn't give you a heads up when cats are expecting kits. So I'm going to start playing 2 moons into the next year and just mention if anyone's expecting. Anyway, Specklenose has adopted well to clan life. She's bold and dares other cats to try picking on her or her clan. She's chased foxes, dogs, and even rogues out, so she's doing great. She did get a torn ear from a dog, but other than that, she's fine. I imagine it probably wasn't the biggest dog. She truly has girl boss energy. I was also checking to see if there was any possible feeling-related stuff happening between her and the Cuddlebugs, with her being a surrogate constantly, but she seems to just be chill and likes helping them out. I really like Specklenose, and I'm happy she's doing good in the clan. Next up is Cinder Petal, who is now 88 moons old. He was still a little off his game in the beginning of this year, and he got a small scar on his eye when hunting a rat. But overall, he's doing a lot better. He's still been hanging out with Frecklespot's kits, and I think Bright Mask got him to open up and tell stories about Stoneleaf, as Cinder Petal was sharing prey with Bright Mask on the same moon that Bright Mask wanted to learn more about Stoneleaf. I imagine Cinder Petal shared some of the good parts of Stoneleaf. It was probably bittersweet to think about, but it might have been good for healing and moving on, as he was doing a lot better after that. Beyond that, he's been reinforcing the camp and preparing for any potential battles. He's also been entertaining the thought of becoming deputy, but he wouldn't want anything to happen to his brother, and he doesn't see that becoming an option as they're both kind of getting up in age. Overall, he's doing his best. Oh yeah, someone mentioned how last year when he defeated 4 rogues on his own, Stoneleaf might have been helping him without Cinder Petal even knowing, so take that information as you will. I think that makes sense as Stoneleaf seems to look out for certain cats he cares about despite being in the Dark Forest. But yeah, that's Cinder Petal this year. Next up is Shrew Patch, who is now 64 moons old, and she's not taking her sister's death well. She sees this as another form of abandonment, even though she knows it's out of her control, and has kind of reverted back to her snappy self, taking out her emotions while on patrol, and starting arguments and rushing into fights. Both her and her mom seem to have issues lashing out when they're in pain, it seems. Earlier in the year, before Hopwhisker's death, she was actually being suspicious and being curious about other clans. And at this point, I'll let you guys know that I turned on unmated cats having kits at the beginning of this year for any potential mystery kits that might be half clan to cause some drama. And with how Shrew Patch was acting and thinking about kits last year, I was kind of expecting her to have a secret like that, but it turns out she was actually just investigating another cat, who we will get into very soon. She never got concrete proof and wishes she pushed it more, seeing how things ended up going. Overall, not the best year for Shrew Patch. Hoping for the best next year. Still looking out for a girlfriend for her because I still headcanon her as a lesbian. I'm going to go over Ottertail next, as talking about Potato Cloud will be easier after him. Ottertail is 38 moons old now, and this boy, he hasn't been following the warrior code because he was the one who ended up in a whirlwind half-clan romance and ended up having a single kit. Seems like Ottertail moved on from Pale Path fast. Based on the fact his daughter looks almost exactly like Heatherstar from Bug Clan, I immediately thought Ottertail might have had a fling with Blazehair, who is Heatherstar's daughter, and opened up Bug Clan to play the moons this would have been happening to compare the events in-game. And when I did, it lined up well. Blazehair was interested in other clans and thinking about kits. And on the very same moon that Ottertail had his kit, where it would make sense that the kit was actually born in Bug Clan, the Bug Clan medicine cat Shade Needle actually received an omen. So I decided Bug Clan feared having other clans use this half-clan kit in their camp as another reason to pick on them, and ended up sending her to live with GalaxyClan after she was weaned, due to this omen. Heatherstar didn't want to, but some cats in her clan were quite vocal with opinions. Unfortunately, due to this, Bug Clan and GalaxyClan are pretty awkward with each other right now, as other clans are teasing them that they are too close. Burdockstar was furious when she found out Ottertail did this, and he caused even more tensions, and she confined Ottertail to camp for some moons. Ottertail's been doing his best to raise his daughter, but it's not really going that well, but we'll get into her when we get to the Apprentice Den. I've also decided that Ottertail and Blazehair are not currently mates, and they've separated, wanting to stay loyal to their respective clans. Ottertail really seems to be cursed to like girls he can't actually have, but it doesn't seem to keep him down for that long. So now next up is Potato Cloud, who is now 48 moons old. He successfully trained his rowdy apprentice Patchpaw, and in the end, he's really proud of her. He also ended up pulling a bit of a Fireheart and Graystripe, taking over training Fernpaw a bit towards the end of it, since Ottertail was busy making some bad choices. Ottertail trained Fernpaw for the most part, but there was a few times he was a little distracted. Potato Cloud was concerned for his friend, but couldn't convince him otherwise. Potato Cloud doesn't really understand his choices or the appeal of romance in general, but he cares for his friend. I'm also taking this time to say aromantic Potato Cloud is canon now. I don't know if he's asexual though, and I've been thinking if any future lesbian cats need a surrogate, he could maybe help. But he's definitely only seemed to ever show platonic feelings for anyone and has never had thoughts of love or kits or anything like that, so who knows. I will say Shrew Patch was upset that Potato Cloud didn't succeed in stopping Ottertail despite knowing what was happening, and argued with him, but he's trying to patch things up, and he also seems to try to comfort her after Hopwhisker's death. So he's just an absolute sweetheart trying to make sure everyone's doing good. Overall, Potato Cloud is a good boy who looks out for others and tries his best to keep things calm. Next up is Ember Feather and Pale Path, who are both 38 moons old. And they haven't had kits at all, and haven't actually had any thoughts relating to them either. I think they're interested in being strong warriors and focusing on providing for their clan and chasing fights. I can respect these two young cats waiting on having kits, no rush. Maybe they don't even want kits. Plus, there's the whole Burdock family curse where the dad seems to die almost immediately after they have kits. So if they do end up doing that, I am very nervous for Ember Feather. Though I will also be a little sad if they don't have any purely from a Burdock Star bloodline aspect, so I am conflicted. Despite the lack of kit thoughts, they've definitely been thinking about love a lot, and it seems that the relationship is going really well, and they're basically attached at the hip. Pale Path was also really upset to lose her mom, but Ember Feather was there to support her. Odd actually also seemed to hang out with her, so it seems she was looking out for the cat version of daughter-in-law that she has. Pale Path has always seemingly been one to be sad for a moon or two in the face of tragedy, but bounces back pretty fast. I think she likes to live in the moment and understands there's nothing she can really do to change the past. She seems to be doing well, and I think she got her happy nature from her dad, Twigclaw. She does still want an apprentice, though, and has deputy goals, but we'll have to see. As for Ember Feather, he's been good this year, but he did fight with his brother briefly. But it seems they made up really quickly as the very next moon they were sharing prey together. He doesn't approve of Ottertail's actions, but he can't stay mad at him, especially knowing that he originally liked Pale Path and that he hasn't been spending the most time with Ottertail, which might have pushed him away to other cats after he started dating Pale Path. He's a little awkward with his niece, but he's trying to bond even if it's a little forced or awkward. He's doing his best. Next up is the 27-moon-old Bright Mask, and he's got some drama. First, I'll get his small neck scar out of the way. He just got that from a rat bite, so nothing too interesting. He's doing great in the clan and is definitely loyal, but this boy keeps ending up thinking about Stoneleaf, or cats that are in the Dark Forest in general, I swear. He wanted to learn more about Stoneleaf and seems to be asking cats about his older brother. I think trying to learn more. He seems unbothered about Stoneleaf chasing him out of the Dark Forest last year, and at this point I'm wondering if his prophecy has to do with potentially somehow redeeming Stoneleaf and maybe guiding him back to StarClan, because you can do that. But we'll have to see. Notably, in StarClan, Cricket Flower, who is the son of Duskcloud and died in the battle that was over Duskcloud's death, was disappointed in Bright Mask this year. So I don't think he approves of any of this. I'll be adding Bright Mask related events to that generator I'm making for the Dark Forest drama next year. He also ended up seeing Freckle Spot in a dream the moon after she died, so I think this boy is sneaking around the Dark Forest and just managed to spot her there while trying to find Stoneleaf. Either way, Bright Mask needs to be careful, but he's definitely doing some main character activities. As of now, he's only told his brother about what he's been up to. And speaking of, next up is Bubble Speck, who is also 27 moons old. And he is itching to get some revenge on those rogues if he runs into them, now that he's big and strong. They almost killed him in the past, and he wants to tear some fur. His brother told him about how he's seen Stoneleaf, and Bubble Speck is worried he's going to do something dumb. He's been trying to keep an eye on him and was really concerned to hear Bright Mask tell him that their mother had died and that she was in the Dark Forest too. He doesn't quite understand Bright Mask's seeming abilities to travel to a place that cats should not walk, and how he knows things he shouldn't, and he's concerned about him. I imagine him to be the type to try to literally knock some sense into him by whacking him on the head semi-playfully. Though Bright Mask's abilities to travel to the harsh place bad cats go has reinforced the thought that while Bubble Speck would like revenge, he does not want to kill. He doesn't want to end up in the Dark Forest based on his brother's stories of how it is there. Beyond that drama, Bubble Speck actually developed a crush on one of Ravenspot and Aspen Lily's daughters, and they've been hanging out a lot, and I think it's pretty cute. She's actually next up in the lineup, so the cat he has a crush on is the newly named Patchwing, who is now 19 moons old and a little tornado in the clan. She's grown to be extremely smart, but she's definitely still on the hunt for excitement. Not even deterred after getting an injury from a fox during her apprenticeship. She thinks that scars are super cool looking, and I imagine she probably said something similar to Bubble Speck, complimenting how his makes him look tough, which might have given him the crush in the first place, as I imagine he might be a little self-conscious of his really large scar. Patchwing speaks her mind and is protective of her siblings, though I've decided she's banned from helping in the medicine cat den since she just gets in the way and stresses her brother out more without meaning to. She already has dreams of becoming deputy one day, but she needs to slow down at least a little bit. After all, she just became a warrior recently. I think she really looks up to her dad and wants to be like him, hence the deputy goals in the future. She also really doesn't seem to like a certain Tom in the clan, who we'll get into in literally a second, as they argued on patrols multiple times this year. But yeah, that's Patchwing. I love me some spunky she-cats, and I love that we have some variety and spice in the clan. Next up is her sister Fernhardt, who I'll be honest was originally named Fernhardt in-game, but I didn't like it, and thought Burdock Star would like to honor Whiskerheart somehow after their rocky relationship they had in the past. Plus, Fernhardt fits with the heart design motif thing I gave her. Fernhardt has grown into a good hunter, and the game randomly just made her mates with the 15-moon-old lonesome Mint Splash. I wouldn't have done that, but you do you, game. Patchwing absolutely despises him, though, and I've never seen him interact with Fernhardt. But okay, I guess. Mint Splash was mentored by Ravenspot, so he might have admired her from afar, as she is his daughter, and would probably be around a lot. Mint Splash was also kind of edgy and standoffish during his training, which hasn't changed much, but Ravenspot did his best and tried to encourage him as well as he could. I also have to mention that the absolute second he became a warrior, he was already thinking about kits. So he needs to slow his roll. You are very young, sir. You better not pressure this sweetheart into anything she's not ready for. Right before they became mates, Fernhardt actually had the status that she had a crush on Bright Mask. So I think Mint Splash was the one to ask her out. I'm really hoping Fernhardt actually likes him back and didn't just go with it to not hurt him, as she is loving and doesn't like to make people feel bad. But they literally just got together, and I have nothing to go off of other than Patchwing doesn't like him, and Fernhardt liked a different cat before they got together. Beyond Mint Splash, Fernhardt's done great this year. She doesn't blame Ottertail for being distracted a bit with his whirlwind romance during the latter half of her training, and is still really close with him. She also got his kit as an apprentice, who we'll get into soon. And quick blood warning for a picture on screen. I'll let you know when it's off the screen, and it's going up in 3, 2, 1. She was the one who chased the fox away that had been attacking her brother Cinderspeck, standing her ground but getting that scar in the process. And the picture is off the screen now. She's a sweetheart most of the time, but she will fight to protect her loved ones despite not being that skilled in battle. I also think it's a little interesting that all 3 of the siblings got fox scars this year. But yeah, I'm hoping for the best with these 2, but we'll have to see how it goes. There's not too much to go off of right now. They haven't really been on patrol either, because I like sending apprentices with their mentor on a solo patrol for the first time. And then on the second time they were going to patrol together, Mint Splash wanted to be alone, so I sent him on a solo patrol. So I really do not have much to go on with this couple. The last new warrior in the clan is Mint Splash's brother, the strange Oakspring, who you guys renamed on a community post, as in-game Burdock Star wanted to name him Oakspeck, and I was not letting there be a Bubble Speck, Specklenose, Cinder Speck, and Oakspeck in the clan. Enough is enough, no more specks. Oakspring has grown to inherit his mother's teeth, and I love him. He's just a little silly kitty. He was apprenticed to Bluelight, which I also love. I'm really happy that Burdock Star gave an apprentice to Bluelight before he retired. And I imagine this goofball helped him feel young again for a bit. Oakspring gives me himbo vibes, but he's actually very smart. So instead, I like to think cats underestimate him because of how he acts. But he knows more than they think he knows, and he leads them on a bit. I also like to think that Oakspring is either the biggest or one of the biggest cats in the clan now. And he actually got a scar from a dog towards the end of the year that I forgot to draw on him, but it's on his neck, so I'm just gonna say it's hidden in this position. Oops. I will figure out what it looks like and draw it for the next year. He doesn't seem too bothered by it overall. I really like him. He's definitely odds kin with his little strange antics he's gotten. His personality is literally strange. Next up, GalaxyClan's only apprentice is the strict 7-moon-old Swanpaw, who was also named with community posts. Thank you guys again. She was the only kit born this year, and she wasn't even born here as she's half clan, so she was born in Bug Clan. And she's not happy about that fact. She doesn't seem to get along with her dad, Ottertail, and I think she misses Bug Clan, being upset that her birth was apparently an omen that essentially got her kicked out of her birth clan. I like to think that she's strict because she is upset with her parents and how they broke the code, and she's made a vow to not be like them in the future. Fernhardt is doing her best to train her and makes her feel welcome, but Swanpaw is mostly grumpy right now. She feels like an outsider and she hates it. Plus, the 2 patrols that she's been on was running into a fox where Fernhardt and Cinderspeck got injured and having an awkward border patrol, so she's not having a good time. She doesn't seem to look forward to becoming a warrior, but I hope she does better in the future. The other clans already know about her parents, and I imagine she hated the stares and whispers at a gathering that she went to. Burdock Star doesn't blame Swanpaw for existing, and while she is obsessed with Ottertail, she wants her to do well. So I like to think she gave her Fernhardt as a mentor, since Fernhardt is an absolute sweetheart and would do her best to train her. Lastly, we're going to head over to the elders. The youngest elder being Bluelight, who just retired at 120 moons old. He was a really good warrior that looked out for his clanmates until the very end. I like that Burdock Star showed a respect for him and gave him an apprentice before he retired. After the rogue attack where he was specifically targeted for his kitty pet heritage last year, and almost completely blinded, it was probably a good experience to get him back to his full self. Plus, I mentioned before that Oakpaw would cheer up anyone with his little antics. Also, interestingly, Bluelight had a few interactions with Swankit this year. I really think Bluelight had a soft spot for kits, and I'm a little sad that he never had any of his own. He was thinking about love again this year, so I think he's still crushing on Burdock Star. But again, probably not going anywhere with that. Interestingly, despite being ambitious, he never really had the status that he wanted to be deputy or that he was dreaming of becoming leader. So I really think he just wanted to have a good time and find adventure in his life. Honestly, his biggest ambition is probably his crush he has. Wishing him good luck in retirement. Though I picture him still doing things like hunting every now and again, like Ridge and Buzzard Daisy used to do. Now onto the last cats in the clan, being the entire odd family that is in the Elder's Den, because why not? Side note, I really loved drawing this part. I love making goofy poses. Weedleap has joined her sister at 124 moons old. Bat is now 143 moons old. And Odd is still kicking at 150 moons old. She still lives. Together, these three make the Elder's Den nothing but chaos and fun times. Odd is not immune to the effects of age because she's actually forgetting who Dustcloud was, of all cats, despite all the drama that was attached to him. So that's not good. It's really sad to see them start aging and forgetting cats and things like that. I've also decided that Bat believes in StarClan now because literally 3 different StarClan cats have been walking in his dreams this year, being Whiskerheart, Ridge, and Sandstar. And Bat also had the status where he wished he could visit Tawny Sun in StarClan, which, again, pretty sad. He probably feels bad about the arguments they had when he was his apprentice. Also, with all these cats visiting him, I'm very concerned that it might be his time soon, but it could also just have been them trying to get him to believe in StarClan. We'll have to find out next year. I'm a little nervous. As for Weedleap, she's just been chilling. She's kind of just there and likes to sneak out for alone time. She's proud of her 2 sons, and her and Odd may or may not have a bet over who's going to end up becoming a grandma first. But yeah, that's year 7 for GalaxyClan. There's a lot of potential danger on the horizon, with potential threats from Kestrel Star of Creek Clan, the new Makwa Star of Sharp Clan, as well as the rogues that are lingering around. Things aren't looking too safe right now. The rogues actually seem to be hanging around near Bug Clan at the beginning of the year, as Bug Clan actually lost a cat to a rogue attack this year. But yeah, next year of GalaxyClan should be out in about a month, probably closer to early June since I'm going out of state in about a week for a little bit, and I'll also be busy with Mermaid next month. Like I said, I've seen the first moon in-game, and oh boy, it's already crazy. But with that said, if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate if you could like, subscribe, and check out my socials linked below, including the new channel Discord. My commissions are open if you'd like to support me that way. But with all that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week with my redrawing old DeviantArt stuff video, which I pushed back a week to get this one out early. Peace!